everyone, my name is James and this is Dueling with Downton, a series in where we take a look at a certain archetype within the Yu-Gi-Oh universe, exploring the lore and playstyle of that particular archetype of focus. And in this video we're of course talking about the Dragon Maid archetype. The Dragon Maids are an archetype that are most likely inspired by the anime and manga series known as Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, as the creator / author himself has given his approval for this archetype's creation. The theme of the Dragon Maids are that they're all female dragon monsters that each use a different attribute which helps reflect and complement the tasks as a maid that each one of them has to perform. So in this video we'll be taking a look at the key monsters within the archetype, the strengths and weaknesses and playstyle of said archetype, as well as the fact is I'll give an example of the cards in action right at the end. So first and foremost, we've got Chamber Dragon Maid, a level 4 dark attribute effect monster that when normal or special summoned, you can add one Dragon Maid spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. And at the start of your battle phase, you can return this card to your hand and special summon a level 7 or higher Dragon Maid monster from your hand or your graveyard. This effect can only be used once per turn by this particular card. This card is based off of the duties of a Chamber Maid. Next up, we have Nurse Dragon Maid, an Earth-type attribute monster with the following effect. When normal or special summoned, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Dragon Maid monster not named Nurse Dragon Maid from your graveyard. And at the start of your battle phase, you can return this card to your hand and special summon a level 7 Dragon Maid monster from your hand or graveyard. This effect can only be used once per turn. Now this card is based off of the duties of a nurse, which somewhat reflects her skill, as bringing a monster back from the graveyard you can kind of see as reviving and healing. This card's dragon monster counterpart is called Dragon Maid Earnest. So moving along, we've got Kitchen Dragon Maid, a level 3 fire attribute monster with the effect that when normal or special summoned, you can add one Dragon Maid monster from your deck to your hand. Then discard one Dragon Maid monster to your graveyard. At the start of your battle phase, you can return this card to your hand and special summon one level 8 Dragon Maid monster from your hand or graveyard. This effect by this card can only be used once per turn. This card is based off of the duties of a kitchen maid, which most likely consists of gathering the ingredients, preparing meals for other maids, and its dragon form counterpart is called Dragon Maid Tin Cat. Next up we have House Dragon Maid, a level 9 fusion monster with the light attribute. Its effect: once per turn during your standby phase, you can target one other Dragon Maid monster you control. Special summon one Dragon Maid monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position, whose level is one higher or one lower than the targeted monster. So if I have a level 3 Dragon Maid monster on my field and I targeted that particular card with this card's effect, I can special summon either a level 2 or level 4 Dragon Maid monster in defense mode. Its second effect: when another face-up dragon monster or monsters you control returns to your hand, except during the damage step, you can target one monster your opponent controls and destroy it. This card is based off of the duties of a head of house maid. Typically, the head of house maid would be in charge of managing the other maids. A possible hint to this card being in a higher position when comparing her to the other maids in this archetype would be her much greater, higher attack point value. This card's dragon counterpart is called Dragon Maid Shiu. So we only have two more to go. Now let's look at Laundry Dragon Maid, a level 2 water attribute Dragon Maid monster. Its effect: when normal or special summoned, send the top 3 cards of your deck to your graveyard. And at the start of your battle phase, you can return this card to your hand and special summon one level 7 Dragonmaid monster from your hand or from your graveyard. This effect can only be used by this card's name once per turn. This card is based off of Laundry Duties. This card's dragon counterpart is called Dragonmaid Nardule. And finally, we have Parlor Dragonmaid, a level 3 wind attribute monster that once normal or special summoned, you can send one Dragonmaid monster from your deck to your graveyard. At the start of your battle phase, you can return this card to your hand and special summon a level 8 Dragonmaid monster from your hand or graveyard. This effect can only be used by this card's name once per turn. This card is based off the duties of a parlor, which includes general guest hospitality like opening doors, guiding guests to certain locations, and laying out the afternoon tea and setting the table. This can be seen depicted in her card's artwork. This card's dragon counterpart is called Dragonmaid Lorpa. So now we've looked and covered some of the main monsters within this archetype. Let's quickly look at some of the supporting spell and trap cards that accompany the Dragonmaid title. So for the spell cards, we include Dragonmaid Change Over, Dragonmaid Hospitality, Dragonmaid Send Off, Dragonmaid Welcome. And the supporting trap cards are as follows: Dragonmaid Downtime and Dragonmaid Tidying. So, as for the playstyle, as you can probably tell from the effects of these Dragonmaid cards, they mainly focus their play around getting your higher level Dragonmaid monsters or dragons into your hand or your graveyard, while your lower level monsters swarm the field. All of the human forms of the Dragonmaids transform once the battle starts, changing them into a higher leveled dragon state of form, before then changing back into their human forms once the battle has ended. Now, personally speaking, I really do like this type of playstyle. I think it's very unique, I think it's pretty cool, but there are a few flaws and weaknesses with this type of playstyle. After all your opponent would need to do to counteract your play would be to simply use something like Banisher of the Light, who removes any card that is sent to the graveyard, or use a spell card like Soul Release. Basically, if they can destroy your hand and get rid of cards from your graveyard by removing them, your strategies are going to be very limited to what you can do with the Dragonmaid monsters. As well as cards like Debunk and Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, as well as Call of the Grave, are easy ways to disrupt the Dragonmaid's combinations and chains that they pull in order to get the deck moving and going and functioning normally. So, well, as the fact is, this playstyle is very unique, very cool, very stylistic because the cards look amazing. Unfortunately, you're going to struggle when going up against quite a few of the top tier decks within Yu-Gi-Oh! Nevertheless though, I personally find this archetype super fun to play with in my spare time, and I really enjoy all the designs. They're really cool, and like I've said, I find the playstyle very interesting and unique, so it gives me quite a bit of enjoyment when I'm personally playing it myself. Let me know what you think of this archetype down in the comment section below. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit that like button and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Content, whether that's Yu-Gi-Oh! 7th reviews, top 10s, or videos like this where we look at the archetypes within the game and learn more about the game that both you and me love to play. So I end you with this example of how the Dragonmaids play. Hope you've enjoyed. Thanks once again for watching and have a great day. Alligator, matane. Goodbye. Okay, so we start off by activating Kitchen's effect, which then we search through our deck to basically add a card from my hand, and then we have to discard a card. So basically I'm just trying to get a level 8 into my graveyard at this point. The reason as to why I'm doing this is simply because I can then activate Kitchen's effect by removing it and putting it back into my hand, so that I can special summon a level 8 monster when I attack next time. But now we're going to use Dragon's Mirror to fusion summon a fusion monster, which is the House Dragonmaid. Of course, what I've just said about having a level 8 in my graveyard, this kind of contradicts that, because I'm now banishing it, which means I can't use it. Nevertheless though, I'm getting a very powerful fusion monster out, so this will play a big part later on. Not quite sure why I placed it in that position there, but you don't have to. We are playing like the main updated rules, but just habit, I guess. We'll put this face down in defense mode. It's not really part of the showcasing of the archetype, but I just had to put it in my deck to kind of fill up the numbers basically, and this was a suggested card that I thought would work, so nice for defense. We attack, that's fine, no biggie there really. We're just going to end our turn and now blast through Zark's turn. Okay, so with Zark's turn now over, we got Polymerization, which isn't really that useful because I haven't actually unlocked the dragon form of the other of the House Dragonmaid card. So the other fusion dragon form monster I haven't actually got yet, so that's the problem about playing on Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution. But nevertheless, we're activating this trap card, which basically allows us to return a card from our field to our hand if it's a Dragonmaid monster. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to use it to get Kitchen back into our hand, and then use Kitchen's skill again in a minute, but we're also going to add another Dragonmaid to our hand, which is very useful. So instead of just polymerization again, I am actually going to summon Parlor Dragonmaid, because her effect is relatively useful as well in this situation, which you'll see in just a minute, the reason as to why. See? Parlor's effect, when the battle phase begins, you can special summon a level 8 Dragonmaid monster from your graveyard or your hand by returning Parlor to the hand. So again, that's exactly what we did here, and this makes it so we can attack for 5,700 attack in one turn. Nice, awesome, good as you like. So at the moment, Zark hasn't really paid much of a threat. We are doing a challenge version of Zark, of course, but nevertheless, if you were to go up against someone, like I said in the video, that constantly banishes your cards, this would be a totally different story. But at the moment, we're not doing too badly. So they are going to try and get off a pendulum summon here, which isn't surprising considering it's Zark, but nevertheless, we're going to let them get the board going for a little bit, because it's not really the end of the world if they do get the pendulum summon up and they start pendulum summoning, because we can always take it down. We've got two very strong monsters on the field. And I know in my video I did state that the playstyle revolves around the human forms transforming into the dragon forms and transforming back. You don't actually have to transform back into the human form at the end of the turn if the card specifies you don't. So that's always something useful to bear in mind. Nevertheless though, I am going to bring it back to my hand, because this dragon form that I'll have in my hand actually allows me to send it to the graveyard to give a Dragonmaid 2,000 attack points, if I'm believed to be correct. Plus we can also use House Dragonmaid's ability, which basically, because we return a monster from our field to our hand as a Dragonmaid, we can destroy a monster on the field. Hooray! Oh, sorry about that, but yeah, explaining it all. So we're going to send this monster just to the graveyard, just as a precaution, just in case we need to use it later on. It's not really going to do anything major in our hand, Plus, it does allow us to special summon another monster, which means we can put off some effects and get some more defense in case Sark gets the board rolling on his side of the field. Which is something he does actually do, annoyingly, but not too big of an issue here. Put Nurse into the graveyard, not really sure why, I just couldn't bother to filter through and find another one. Cyber Nova, we know what's coming here, don't we? A Self-Exceeds, and into that one. And of course, it does end up nicking our fusion monster, so we lose a very powerful monster there, but again, it's not the end of the world. We're not going to activate, although I did hesitate to activate it. I am just not quite sure what I'm doing. Oh, I see, so I have to activate the effect here. But, oh no, I don't. Yeah, alright, so I just let that die. That's fine. Now this is where we actually do start cleaning things up and getting the win in just a second. So we summon Laundry, which then that basically negates the effect. But what we do is we get Dragonmaid, the spell card, downtime, and return Laundry to our hand just before it gets destroyed. Which basically means we still have 2 potential fusion material monsters and we get another card. So, we polymerization, bring out House Dragonmaid once more. So basically what we do now is we activate this effect to this monster, giving us an extra 2,000 attack points, thus securing the win. Thank you so much for watching, catch you later, bye.